Direct Connection is made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities and is made possible by the generous support of our members. Thank you. Live from Maryland Public Television, this is Direct Connection with Jeff Salkin.
Good evening. Welcome to your Direct Connection. Coming up tonight, why summertime is also kidney stone time. We will get some prevention tips. That's coming up. First tonight, we connect you with the head of the Maryland Lottery and Gaming Control Agency. Gordon Medenica joins us to answer your questions. Sir, thanks for being with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, especially when we have good news like this.
We'll talk about your good news, but I want to start with something that could potentially be very good news for maybe one of our viewers. I don't know. There's $1 million mystery out there.
There is.
Somebody bought a ticket in Walkersville in Frederick County at a Sheetz's. It was a Mega Millions ticket. They didn't hit the jackpot, but they have $1 million ticket that 2 months later hasn't been claimed.
That's right.
How long do they have?
Well, they have 6 months, 180 days. So
plenty of time left.
Normally, people, I think, should take a little bit of time to get their affairs in order, maybe get a lawyer, a financial advisor, that sort of thing. So it's probably smart not to rush out right away. But the one thing you want to do right away is sign the ticket. It's a bearer instrument.
But maybe somebody worries that's like signing the back of a check. Have you signed it away when you do that?
No, that assures then we'll know that it's you that bought the ticket.
And put it in a safe place.
Very safe place.
How often does something happen where we hope this person comes forward with their financial advisor and lawyer at the proper time, but how often does a jackpot or any winning ticket go unclaimed?
Well, you know, most of the unclaimed prizes are very small and, you know, a couple of dollars here and there. But 2 years ago, for the first time ever, we actually had $1 million winner that never came forward, and the ticket expired.
What happens to the money?
It comes back to as an unclaimed prize fund, which we then redistribute to players in second chance contests, promotions, but by law, it has to go back to the players in some form.
Maryland is among the states, not every state does this, where you can be anonymous.
Yes.
You're a fan of that, or how do you feel about it?
I think there are two arguments. I mean, clearly some consumers think it's very good for them not to have to go through that publicity, but we actually think that announcing who the winners are helps us in terms of transparency and integrity and proving to people that real people do play and do win the lottery.
And a lot of people have been playing and based on the numbers, frankly, not always winning the lottery because you've sent a record amount of money to the state treasury in the last fiscal year.
This year, all-time record, $1.3 billion, and that is both from the lottery side and the casino side. Lottery made $593 million, the casinos made $717 million, and that, of course, supports all the good causes in the state of Maryland.
What are the trends there? Because it wasn't that long ago that the lottery was a bigger revenue source for the state than the casinos were.
Absolutely. A couple years ago, well, really when MGM National Harbor opened and the casino program really expanded, that's when that side of the business became larger than the lottery side. But obviously together they produce a tremendous amount of money for the good of the state.
Within the casino industry, we have 6.
Yeah.
How are they doing? Who's up, who's down?
In general, in total, another all-time record year, so they're doing really well. When MGM opened, though, they did take some market share away from Maryland Live and also from Horseshoe. I think those market share changes have pretty much stabilized. And but I think going forward, you're going to be seeing a slower growth rate because the past really depended on all the new casinos opening up, and we had double-digit growth rates for several years in a row.
If you've been reading the news lately, you know that folks in Annapolis are looking for revenue sources. There's a proposal to spend a lot more money on K through 12 education, pre-K through 12. Is there anything from a lottery gaming standpoint that Maryland isn't doing? Seems like we're doing everything at this point. Is there any revenue that Maryland's leaving on the table when you compare us to other states?
Well, I think, first of all, it's important to note that with the passage of the Lockbox Amendment last year, that the casino revenue to the Education Trust Fund will now be, in fact, supplemental before. And I think before people had the misperception that, where's this casino money going? We don't see the education budgets going up as much as the casinos are going up. And now with the lockbox, it'll be very clear that the casino money, as it always has, will in fact go to that education trust fund. So that becomes a very important component. But it is just a component. And I think the funding challenges going forward are yet to be resolved.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question for the head of Maryland's Lottery and Gaming Control Agency, you can give us a call. We'll have the number up on the screen. You can also email your questions. The email address is livequestions@mpt.org. Let's dig into the lottery games a little bit. What's happening there? What's up and down?
Well, one thing that just happened recently, our Cash for Life game went from 2 times a week to 7 times a week, and it's doing extremely well. Granted, it's a small game, but it has a unique selling proposition in that people win $1,000 a day for life, and it is for life.
Is this a multi-state or this is just Maryland?
It's 9 states that participate in this game, and with the conversion to daily, it's doing extremely well.
How are the big jackpot games, the Mega Millions and all that doing? You hear about jackpot fatigue.
Yeah.
It takes more money to get people excited than it used to, because really, who wants to win just 50 million or so?
Yeah, it's been a dilemma in the lottery business for years, but certainly, last October we had the $1.5 billion Mega Millions jackpot, and we have seen sales slowing down at those lower levels, at the minimums of 40 million, which again is a bit of a, conundrum for us, because why don't people want 40 million?
Let's grab a phone call. Baltimore City, this is Virginia. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, Virginia, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I want to know if I happen to win the big millions, and why is it that if I don't take the lump sum and decide to take all of it, if I die before the rest of my life, why can't your family got to collect instead of most people going for only half of it?
Virginia, we're breaking up a little bit, but that's a great question. Let's clarify what happens.
On the Cash for Life game, there's a minimum payout of 20 years. So if you do pass before 20 years, your estate will continue to get paid. But as long as you live, you'll be paid as many years as there are.
What happens with Powerball, something like that? I gather her question was about the number that's advertised isn't necessarily the number you get if you choose the cash option versus an annuity.
That's right. And most people do choose the cash option, but if you choose the annuity, it's absolutely guaranteed to be paid to the estate. That's no problem.
Prince George's County, this is Chris. Chris, thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Chris.
Hi. I wanted to address the fact that we have traffic that comes from the National Harbor through Arundel Mills and then Horseshoe, and I live on the perimeter of the highway that goes from all of those places, 295. And the volume of traffic there is much worse for us, and I don't see the benefits so far of what we have been able to. I have not seen the benefits from all that.
Chris, glad you called. Yeah, we'll get an answer. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Well, the casino proceeds, as I mentioned earlier, the bulk of it goes to the Education Trust Fund. But there's also a substantial component, about $93 million, that goes to the local jurisdictions where the casinos are located. And that goes for fire and police protection and any other issue that the county government wishes to spend money on. So they are actually benefiting greatly from the casinos.
Yeah, and some of the traffic could be people who have jobs, who work there. And
that's a great point, because
well.
in the casino side of the business, there are 7,400 jobs that have been created from the establishment of casinos. Yeah. And it was always 2 objectives. One was making money for the state, and secondly, creating jobs. And they've succeeded on both.
Whenever we talk casinos or lottery, I do like to make clear that there was a study that the lottery did a few years ago looking at how many people have a problem with gambling.
Yes.
And it was a small percentage. It was 2 or 3%, something like that. But that's tens of thousands of people out there who have a problem, get in over their head, can't stop when it's time to stop. What does the state do to address that?
Well, one of the first things is we were instrumental in founding the Maryland Alliance for Responsible Gaming. And responsible gaming really informs everything we do. And because of the growth of the casino business, we now have a funding mechanism. It's up to $5.3 million, where people who do recognize that they have a problem can actually get counseling now without necessarily having to go through or having their own insurance. Before, we were able to help people with counseling, but now we can actually help them directly regardless of their insurance situation. So we're one of the very few states that offers that, and we're very proud of that funding and that ability to help people. We also have our voluntary exclusion program, and this is where people can sign up for any number of years, and we will take on the responsibility of making sure that they're not allowed to come into the casinos.
Let's take a call from St. Mary's County. This is Simon. Simon, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
The question is, if I did a subscription online and just paid for a year's worth of drawings, would I be able to still remain anonymous?
You're really thinking ahead here, but we'll get you an answer. Thanks.
The answer is you won't be anonymous to us, but you will be anonymous in not being required to go to a press conference or something like that.
Yeah, I like this planning ahead. You should line up a lawyer while you're at it. I have noticed that you have new vending machines.
Yes.
In the local gas station that I frequent, instead of getting your Powerball ticket from the guy behind the counter,
Yep.
there's a machine. Big investment, I guess.
It is, and all of that technology came with the big conversion that we did just a couple of years ago, and we got new equipment everywhere, not just the self-service machines, but also the terminals that the clerks use. But what's unique about this new generation of self-service machine is it's full service. It's not just a vending machine for instant tickets. You can buy all of the draw games, Powerball, Mega Millions, Pick 3, Pick 4, big touch screen. They have become very popular. Retailers are definitely asking for us, and if anything, we're probably going to be upping our order to get more of these machines out there.
Call from Baltimore City. This is Lynn. Lynn, thank you for the call. Go ahead.
This is Lynn in Baltimore City, and I'm very curious to know how much the Education Trust Fund has so far spent on Baltimore City public schools.
Lynn, I don't think we're going to have a specific answer for you on that.
I don't. I'm sure we can get that for you, but
It does take me back to the idea that we mentioned earlier. The state's going to be looking for money. The governor's opposed to a big tax increase for this education plan. And while we're counting up the money that you're making on all these casinos, there is not competition for MGM in the district or in Virginia.
yeah.
If that were to change at some point, before anybody starts, projecting those revenues out for decades and decades, what would happen?
Well, I think you'd lose some market share. And we know there's activity in Virginia. They're probably on the verge of launching casinos. Right now, nothing in Northern Virginia, so it probably wouldn't impact as much. And one of the other things is sports betting is coming to D.C., and that is probably something that will come to Maryland, but we're probably about 2 years away from that.
And I've read that that's not, the profit margin on that isn't what it is on some of this other
Yes,
stuff.
have to be very careful, that people don't get big dollar signs in their eyes, because sports betting, while it's very popular, and of course people do it right now, they just do it illegally, it's not the big money generator. It's not going to be, another big game for us. But to the benefit of, for example, the casinos, it's a traffic driver, so it'll help bring more customers into the casinos.
Very good. Gordon Medenica is the head of the Lottery and Gaming Control Agency. Congratulations on the numbers. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Always a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Coming up in our health segment tonight, why this is kidney stone season. We'll be right back.
Got an unused vehicle going nowhere? Donate it to the one place that can take you any place. Visit mpt.org/vehicles and support the programs you love on MPT.
The MPT app puts our programs right at your fingertips, so you can choose when to watch, what to watch, wherever you want to watch it. Download it now.
I grew up in a small American farming town, didn't have a lot. I lived with 7 siblings in a single wide trailer. I just felt like, why couldn't life be better for me? I remember to this day, I turned on the TV and saw Les Mis on great performances. The music was so powerful. I believed that I can do that. It truly inspired me. Today I have a full-time career, but I also have a dream, to sing in a prestigious opera company. It takes work, time, dedication. Sharing my love for music with people gives me joy. PBS helped me think anything's possible. Now I really know what I want in life, and that's singing. PBS gave me the confidence to take a chance in myself.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
In tonight's Your Health segment, we're joined by Dr. Mark Siegelbaum, Chief of Urology and Director of Urologic Oncology, University of Maryland St. Joseph Medical Center. Doctor, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thinking about seasonal conditions, I would have guessed sunburn was a summer condition. I would not have guessed kidney stones were a summertime problem. Why is that?
It basically has to do with the fact if you're not hydrating yourself well enough, or the temperature, you're overheating outside and not hydrating, that combination platter will usually could result in kidney stones. So places in the southeast, for instance, which are classically known as the Sun Belt, there's a much higher incidence of kidney stone disease down there.
Fascinating. Millions of people get kidney stones every year, right?
About 500,000 people wind up in emergency rooms across the country in this country for kidney stone disease.
All right, so we'll focus on the summer first and then broaden out.
Yep.
So talk about staying hydrated. What happens where, I mean, certainly you get thirsty on a day like today's been. What do people do wrong when it comes to staying hydrated?
Well, kidney stones basically will start forming by little crystals, and then those crystals coalesce into larger crystals and actually become stones. If your urine is well lubricated, if there is a higher volume of urine, there's a much less chance that these little crystals will aggregate into a stone. So the more you drink, the more you urinate, the more the urine volume, the less chance of these stones forming.
This is a terrible analogy, but there's a thing called rock candy. And it's like a kid's school science experiment where you get a supersaturated solution of sugar, and you put a string in there, and the crystals start to form. And then they keep growing. Does it work that way, where you get a little tiny crystal and then it grows from there?
That's a great analogy, Jeff, actually, because the urine does become supersaturated with these chemical components. Those chemicals might be calcium, they might be oxalate, they might be uric acid. And that's exactly what happens. There's too many crystals in the given volume of urine that you have, and you become then at higher risk for forming these stones.
So it's not a situation where it's a problem in the summer and it's not a problem in the winter. You could start something growing in the summer maybe, and it continues to build. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a all year long disease for us, quite frankly. But I think people just are at a little bit more risk because they tend to not hydrate themselves perhaps as well when they're overheated. And as I said, it's just a matter of sheer volume of urine. And generally in the hotter climates, or when you're a little more dehydrated in the hot temperatures, you're a little more vulnerable.
Let me remind our viewers, if you have a question about kidney conditions, kidney stones, give us a call. We'll have the number on the screen, and you can also email questions to livequestions@mpt.org. We hear these things are really painful. What's the first symptom that somebody comes in with?
The most common is pain. It's a sharp pain, usually in the flank area, which is in the upper back area, and sometimes that pain will radiate down towards the front of the abdomen into the groin area. That usually also is associated with nausea and vomiting, perhaps, but pain is the sine qua non symptom that's most common.
When people have that pain, I'm guessing a kidney stone isn't the first thing they're thinking of. They think it's something they ate or they pulled a muscle, maybe?
That's a great point, too. If they've never had one, they don't know exactly what they have. They generally probably think that they have gas pains, but this pain is very different than gas pain. And usually with gas pain, you can figure out a maneuver to sort of relieve yourself. This is just unrelievable. No matter how you position yourself or what you may take for what product, over-the-counter product you might take for your gas ailment, it just does not help. So it does eventually hit you that this is something different than you've ever had.
All right, so two things can happen to the stone, I'm guessing. What are the possible outcomes here?
Well, hopefully you wind up passing the stone if it's small enough to pass. The problem is that the stone starts formation in the kidney. It has to go down a tube that connects the kidney to the bladder, which is like a piece of linguine. It's a very tiny, delicate tube called the ureter. And if it cannot fit through that ureter tube, it's going to block the tube, and eventually the ureter and the kidney will fill up with urine. It's actually the distension of the kidney and the ureter with urine that causes the pain. It's not actually the stone itself that is painful. So if you don't pass it, you're going to have persistent pain. If you do pass it, it's almost an instantaneous relief of your symptoms.
Is there anything that can help in terms of procedures, medication, to have it pass normally?
Well, first of all, I would recommend to my patients that if they think they're having a kidney stone, the pain usually becomes so intense that you really need a little help from your friends. I would suggest that they go to the emergency room because, number one, we can hydrate them. Number two, we can give them pain relief. And number three, we can do the x-rays that we need to determine where the stone is, how big it is, and will they need help in passing it.
Let's take a phone call. Baltimore County, this is Lewis. Lewis, thanks for the call. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm wondering if being overweight makes you more likely to get kidney stones.
Good question. Thank you, sir.
That is an excellent question. And yes, people who are obese are at higher risk for formation of kidney stones. All types of kidney stones, but the most common are uric acid stones, which are a byproduct of some protein foodstuffs that we eat. But they also have a higher incidence of getting oxalate stones as well. So yes, obese patients are at higher risk for kidney stone formation.
Any other risk factors or demographics at work here, male versus female?
There is a higher incidence of male stone victims compared to female. There is a genetic preponderance for stone formation. Patients who have Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis could have it. Other diseases like hyperparathyroidism, patients are prone to getting stones. And also, people who have a very high sodium intake in their diet have a predisposition to getting calcium oxalate stones as well.
Is there an age group where this problem pops up?
It does affect all age groups, including children, but much less so in the childhood age range. I would have to say probably in the fifth to 7th decade is probably the most common.
All right, you talked about the emergency room could do an x-ray. What other diagnostic tools are available?
The most common diagnostic x-ray that we would do in that setting is a CAT scan, and that will give us the position of the stone, the location of the stone, and how big it is. We then decide if we would allow that patient to then go home and try to pass it on their own with a few medications that we would give them to aid them, or whether they need to have an intervention with either a laser procedure through a scope, or whether they might need a procedure where they can lay on a stretcher, they're anesthetized, and from outside the body, we can deliver shock waves to the stone to break them up into dust particles.
How on earth does that work? I mean, it sounds like science fiction. How do you apply the shock wave?
Well, to tell you the truth, that science fiction has been around for close to 35 years, and it started off immersing patients in a bathtub, and they would be placed on a gantry, immersed into this bathtub that sort of looked like a coffin. The stone then would be imaged on multiple different fluoroscopic images, and then you deliver a shock wave that used to be transmitted through the water so that it wouldn't create such havoc inside the body. But that shock wave treatment now has been really miniaturized. It almost looks like a portable x-ray machine, and the energy is so focused and immediately directed onto the stone itself that it doesn't cause any damage to surrounding structures unless you overdo it.
Let's get one more phone call. Prince George's County, this is Arno. Thank you for the call. Go ahead.
Yes. Does drinking high acidic juices such as cranberry juice help to dissolve kidney stones?
Good question. Thanks. And also, while we're talking summertime, what about beer?
Right. Beer probably is a reasonable thing to drink.
I was
to
wondering
hydrate
if it makes
yourself.
you dehydrated, though.
Well, I think ultimately because you probably urinate a little bit more, perhaps if you're overdoing it, but to have a couple of beers would be a good source of hydration.
It's my kind of doctor right here. But,
yes, right. You have to
so the
engage
caller
your
wanted
patients.
to know cranberry juice.
Right. So cranberry juice actually is very bad for stone formers, in fact, because it has a high oxalate content in there. So specifically, cranberry juice is bad because of the oxalate, but also acidifying the urine is not a great thing to do in terms of having certain types of kidney stones, because uric acid stones in an acid environment, in fact, would become worse. So cranberry juice is not necessarily a beverage that's recommended for stone formers. The best beverages for stone formers are either plain water or lemonade, as long as you're not loading it with sugar.
Very good. In just a sentence, our summertime advice here is drink some water.
Hydration, hydration, hydration. That's the chief reason for preventing stones.
Dr. Mark Siegelbaum, University of Maryland, St. Joseph Medical Center. Thanks for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
We appreciate it. Thursday at this time on Your Money and Business, we will check into a fancy new beach hotel in Ocean City to see what $400 a night will buy you. That's coming up, Your Money and Business, Thursday at 7 o'clock. Remember to follow us on Twitter at MPT News. That is at MPT News. Now, for all of us at MPT, I'm Jeff Salkin. Thanks for watching and have a good night.
Your health segments are a co-production of Maryland Public Television and the University of Maryland Medical System.
This program was made by MPT to serve all of our diverse communities.